What's up, everybody? Saturday, November 16, here in Naples, Florida, coming at you. So, I weighed myself and I dropped 0.6 pounds from yesterday. A little bit less because of coffee consumption. I drank a little bit of more coffee yesterday because I'm trying to, I've quit now for good the smoking cigarettes, right? So, but I don't want to talk about that. I don't want to talk about that today because I've said all I've needed to say about that. Now it's just a matter of proving to myself that I can keep my word, that I can promise myself, for my own self-respect, for my own health, not for anybody else's, but for my own health, right? This is about me, being good to myself, respecting myself, self-care, right? Good, healthy self-care. And that's what I'm going to embark on doing. So I feel pretty great, actually. I feel pretty great. I've got a bunch of little mantras that I'm reciting to myself to kind of keep myself preoccupied and not smoking cigarettes. I am chewing the nicotine gum, which is helping me to not have intense cravings. What else can I say? Hold on, let me just adjust this real quick. Today I'm getting ready to go to the beach. This is my second day. Is it my second day of fasting? So I fasted. So Thursday I had my refeed. So yesterday was Friday. Today's Saturday. Tomorrow I'm having a refeed. I'm going to the Golden Corral restaurant tomorrow, and I'm gonna have a bunch of steak. I'm gonna have a shitload of steak, fucking green beans, some good veggies, salad, fruit, and it's going to be delicious and it's going to be highly nutritious. So I'm looking forward to that. It's getting easier and I'm feeling a lot more mentally clear. I have a lot more mental clarity. So I'm really happy about that. I've been drinking a little bit more coffee to compensate for the smoke, just to help me with the smoking, because it's easier for me to wean myself off of coffee alone without replacing it with something else. But what I'm doing is, whenever I get an addiction, or no, when I get a craving for smoking cigarettes, what I'll do is I will go and do something. I'll keep myself preoccupied, like I'll tidy up my room, or I'll do some laundry, or I'll clean the kitchen, or I'll replace the garbage, or going to the gym also, or I'll chew some gum, or I'll go sit outside, I'll do a Sudoku puzzle or something like that. So I'm constantly keeping myself busy, right? So this is part of what's really helping me. Trying to get some good sleep. My sleep is suffering a little bit. I do stay up a little bit late and I get up a little bit too early maybe. So I'm not getting a full 8 hour sleep. So I really got to start focusing on my sleep, you guys. That's one of the things that I really need to pay attention to. Sleep is paramount. What else can I say? Today is going to be hopefully a beach day. It's a little bit of an overcast right now. It's cloudy. The weather is decent. It's about 23 degrees for those of you who are living more up north. I realize it's not that warm. Uh, I know myself because I live in Canada, and up in Canada it's been like in the minus tens and the minus fives and so on and so forth from where I am living. So yeah. What can I say? I want to talk a little bit about my health issues. So, back in 2018, November 2018, I had a nervous breakdown mentally. I was fucked up. Um, Came back from Europe, lived in Europe for over a year. Came back to Europe. Came from Europe back home to Canada. Had a mental breakdown. I was living in a rigorous community where it was centered around work, lots of work. It was like a fraternity community where it was a religious community. It was a Catholic community that promoted prayer, sharing, love and peace, but also work ethic. Work was one of the most central things because this place, it's called Chinakalo, for those of you who are interested. It's for people who have addiction. Normally addiction to drugs, video gaming, gambling, that sort of thing. And it's geared towards people of all ages, really. I mean, unless you're extremely old that you're kind of incapable of working, but it is geared towards people of all ages, people who are struggling to find purpose in their lives. And you don't necessarily need to be a drug addict or an addict of any sort. You just need to want to find some purpose in your life. And I found purpose there. I mean, I felt really called and drawn to go to that community, and I lived in that community for, well, let's see, 10 months. So from January to, well, 11 months. From January to November, is that right? January to November. And I had to get some mental issues fixed because that's why I left the community, because I was struggling, I was struggling internally with a lot of emotions, thoughts, my psychology. Um, and this could be just simply biological. You know what I mean? It could be an organic issue. Uh, but when I came back to Canada, I was diagnosed with mental illness. And, like, for example, anxiety was one of the things. Obsessive compulsive symptoms, that was another thing I was diagnosed with. Um, and that was uh, that was really a huge part of my life, and I actually spent some time in the hospital due to my mental illness, just to recover and get myself back on my feet because I was really unstable. Um, and I was taking a lot of meds at the time. And in the hospital, you don't have access, like I wasn't, you don't have access to really to freedom. You're just stuck inside, and I was stuck inside for 30 days. And so 30 days at a time, I was twice in the I went twice to the hospital. Um, so 60 days altogether. And, my parents, my family members, my friends, they brought me food so I would eat. And that was my only source of comfort because everything else was sort of like, I didn't have video games. I didn't have any freedom to go places. I didn't have cigarettes. I loved smoking. But I had the nicotine patch. But I was constantly craving cigarettes. But I was doing a lot of praying back then. Fasting, not so much. I mean, I was fasting, but not to the extent I am doing now. Um, so basically, I've come a long way. My goal is eventually to get off of all the medications because I firmly believe that dry fasting can heal a lot of the issues, can repair or reverse a lot of the issues that I have been experiencing. And I talked to Cole Robinson about this, and he seems to be on board with it. Um, for the time being, I am focusing on just regular fasting and trying to get rid of all my body fat because so much of that junk gets stored in your body fat, pesticides, um, you know, all that stuff. I don't know. I even heard today that there's something called, what's it called? Cannabinoid hyperemesis syndrome or something like that. CHS. And it's basically like some nausea you get from like smoking marijuana. Symptoms are vomiting. No, yeah, symptoms are vomiting, nausea, um, dehydration, right? So, and I used to smoke marijuana back in the day. Um, so maybe some of that stuff is coming out as I'm burning fat. So there's a lot of things that's getting cleansed right now. I'm cleansing my body. So I'm on the right path. I'm feeling great. Got my salt water for today. Today is going to be an off day. I'm not going to the gym today or tomorrow just to recover because I've been doing insane volume and cardio. So I'm giving myself a chance to recuperate for Monday. And yeah, I guess I'll look, yeah. I'll see you guys tomorrow in the next one. Have a great day, everybody.